I love to watch TV, always have. And in fact, I sometimes will plan my day around my favorite shows. So yes, I'm a TV-aholic. Now, I also consider myself to be just an average guy. I mean, I love sports, but as an athlete, I was maybe okay. As a student at school, I was barely average. So there was always something inside me, and I never really talked about it. But I would have loved to have been the best, or one of the best, or an expert at anything. And I always thought that if that happened, it would be TV related. So whenever, and all through my life, whenever I would be interested in some subject, I would try and learn as much as I could about it. But I never became like an expert or the best at anything. And I was okay with that because that's just who I was, just an average guy. Now that all changed in about 2007, and I didn't even realize it when it happened, but that was when the Food Network debuted a show called Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, or Triple D as most of us call it. The show is hosted by Chef Guy Fieri, and he goes all around America, and now overseas as well, to showcase small mom and pop, family-run places that always seem fun. And as soon as I saw the show, I really loved it. Now the show incorporates two things that I love: food and travel. So I can't tell you if this is a travel show with food or a food show with travel. And it didn't really matter, I just loved it. I knew I wanted to go to the places that I saw on the show. So on Memorial Day of 2008, I went to my first Triple D restaurant. It was the Village Cafe in Richmond, and I loved it. The food was really good, the atmosphere was great. But the thing I loved the most was that I was at a place I'd seen on TV, and I wanted to go to more and more places. So after that, whenever I would travel, I'd try and go to Triple D places wherever I was. And then I started to plan trips just to go to the Triple D places. And on Memorial Day, in 2008, in the fall, the show produced a companion book. And when I heard about that, I raced out and got it. I love the book. It's got, the chapters are all different places that were on the show. And then in the back, there's a checklist of all the places that I've gone to. And I would take that book anywhere I went. Now, I was at a place in Miami called Scully's Tavern. Really liked that place. They had their own chapter, and I got to meet the chef and owner. His name is Chris Hurst. His picture was in there too, so I asked him to sign the book, and he did. And that began something that I do to this very day. Whenever I go to a Triple D place, I carry a Triple D book with me, and I get it signed. Now, there's 3 volumes of that book right now, and amongst those 3 volumes, I have 7 copies, and they're all filled with signatures. Now, usually when I get the chef or the owner or just one of the wait staff to sign it, and one of the things they usually will ask me about my travels. And then I'll ask them about when Guy visited. Now, I never really had a goal for my travels. It was just to go to different places. But that all changed after I'd been to about 50 places. See, on one of the episodes, they featured this couple, Roger and Jane, getting to their 100th place. And when I saw that, I knew what my goal was. Not just to get to 100 places, but I wanted to go to more places than Roger and Jane had gone. Or maybe go to more places than anybody had gone to, so I could be the best at that. So I started going all over the country to different places. I like to tell people now that I've been to Triple D restaurants from Maine to Florida, all the way to Hawaii, and a bunch of places in between. Now, by getting my book signed, I usually get a couple of questions that are asked. The first is, what's your favorite place? It's an impossible question for me to answer because they're all so unique and different. I like them for all different reasons. The other question I get asked a lot is, what's your favorite meal? That one I can answer. I have 2, actually. The first is at a place in Wells, Maine called the Maine Diner. They have this lobster pie that is awesome. I mean, I'm thinking about it now, I want to go there. The other is at a place called the Pecan Lodge in Dallas. They have the best barbecue brisket I've ever had. Now that place is really unique in that me and my friend, when we went there, we got there 20 minutes before it opened, and we were like 25th in line. When it opened, there was 100 people in line. And the most amazing thing, that place is only open 16 to 20 hours a week. It's unbelievable. Now, when I go to a restaurant, I look for the two things that guy gives to the restaurants. The first is a caricature of his head that he either paints on the wall or he paints on a baking pan and says, "Guy ate here." The other is a poster, a Triple D poster that he signs to the restaurant personally. I was at a place in Minneapolis a few years ago called Buster's on 28th, and the manager was he didn't really want to sign my book, and he didn't, but he said, "Here, I have this for you. I don't have any use for it." So now, hanging up in my home is a framed, signed copy of the Triple D poster that guy signed to Buster's on 28th. It's one of my most prized possessions. The other thing that's interesting, when Guy goes to a restaurant, he always arrives in his red '67 Camaro. And the license plate on it says Flavortown. Now, Flavortown is that community of restaurants that Guy goes to for the show. And Guy is a self-appointed mayor of Flavortown. My license plate here in Virginia is FLVTOWN. I have the Flavortown, Virginia license plate. Now, since I've been doing this, as I said, I've gone all over the country. I now write a blog. It's on blogger.com. It's called Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives Adventures. I'm also the co-admin of 2 Facebook pages for Triple D and Triple D fans. And I've even been interviewed about my Triple D travels on the TV news in Eureka, California, and Syracuse, New York. So I've been really fortunate to meet a lot of people. I've become friends through getting my books on. I've become friends with a lot of the staff members and the owners, and actually people that do the same thing I do, which is just go around. In fact, we've met a few times. I've met with other fans. I think 3 or 4 times we've done it around the country. We call them a meet and eat, and it's just going to a Triple D restaurant together and just having a meal and talking about our travels and our love for the show. Now that couple, Roger and Jane, I met them a couple years ago, and they've become friends of mine. They live in the Minneapolis area, and we went to a place called the Red Wagon Pizza and had a great time. Now, I've been to a lot more places than they have, so I've met that. But they've been on the show 3 or 4 times, so they're really the first couple of Triple D. Now, I've met other fans all around the country and become friends with them. And I've met people who've been to 200, 300, even 400 different places. So we're kind of crazy. We just like to go around and try different places out. But I guess I've met my goal of being the best, or one of the best at something, because I've been to 735 different places. Thank you.